All right, Stephen, before we praise HubSpot's Content Hub as a CMS that we love and we've seen so many other B2B companies fall in love with as well, can we spend a little time making fun of our favorite company, HubSpot? Now, we are HubSpot partners through and through. I absolutely love the platform. Some things just drive me nuts. And I think rebranding HubSpot CMS to Content Hub, while I get it because everything is a hub, right? That's supposed to make sense. But when you're competing with major CMSs like, WordPress, even some of the newer ones like Webflow, like it, I think you want to kind of prioritize clarity. So, while we are going to talk about how much we love HubSpot's Content Hub, and so do other B2B companies, we do have to first poke fun at HubSpot for not just making it clear that this is their CMS. And if you want your website hosted and built on HubSpot, this is where you do it. Is that enough? Is that enough HubSpot bashing? Can we go into talking about how much we like Content Hub now?
I think we can.
Okay. All right. Well, let's start. Why are we seeing companies such as Attack Interactive migrating their websites from more traditional WordPress builds to HubSpot?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different use cases. Obviously, typically the company's already on HubSpot. They're using Marketing Hub, and they might have WordPress, they might have Webflow. They could be using something newer like a Framer. But and they're integrated. They're speaking together. Um, but there's so much value of having everything in one platform, especially for tools that are more open source and have a higher likelihood of being hacked or having downtime. Like you don't experience any of that on the HubSpot side. HubSpot's not open source. I've never seen a HubSpot site get hacked because the only way to get into it is by logging into your actual HubSpot account. They handle all the hosting. But going beyond that, like HubSpot's invested a lot in this tool. 5 years ago, I don't think I was ever recommending it. Even a couple of years ago, like the feature set was so much more limited than it is now. But HubSpot's invested so much into it, and now it's not just a website build. Like people, I got asked this on a call a week or two ago by a rather large nonprofit as they were considering whether to stay on WordPress or migrate over to HubSpot. And they're like, my last experience with Content Hub, it was really only good for building landing pages or very small 5 to 7 page websites. I've built websites on HubSpot now that are thousands of pages. I've built websites on HubSpot that have really enterprise level integrations, membership functionality. We have very strict, personalization on how smart content is being used. So really, the possibilities now, when I'm selling it or when I'm talking to a business about this, there's nothing now that you can do inside your WordPress that you can't do in HubSpot. And then once you go beyond like the actual CMS itself, you get these really cool tools like, they have AI blog writers, they have podcast software built into Content Hub now. You can create kind of your brand voice. And then, when you're doing content remix and you write a blog, you can just shoot that blog article into HubSpot's AI tools, and it'll generate a bunch of social posts. It'll generate a bunch of email marketing, all using that more cohesive brand voice. So we're definitely seeing more and more companies move over. And I think one of the biggest benefits that you get is the attribution is so much cleaner because we're generating the lead using HubSpot forms. That lead is flowing right into HubSpot. We can see every single page they're clicking on, and so that attribution reporting gets so much cleaner than when you're using Marketing Hub and you have your website hosted or built on another CMS.
Yeah, and I think another thing is since the beginning of time, since the first man built the first website sometime, I would say it was in the 90s is when we knew about it, but I'm sure it was before that. But let's say it's commercial websites, right? Started popping up in the 90s. All anybody wanted to be able to do was to edit that website without the need of a developer. And almost every evolution of web development has all been to empower normal people, even, and that's even where all of the AI tools are going, right? Hey, hey, website builder, I need a website for my company. We're a dentist in um, Portland, and here are the people that work for us. Here are their LinkedIn's. I want these 5 pages. and go. And then boom, they're going to want that website to pop up. And so what I feel like where that comes back to HubSpot, not just the fact that they're investing in AI and they're going to make it even easier in the future, but right now, the ease that we see is a lot on the drag and drop side, right? I think so many people, whether it's landing pages or website pages, once they have a website up, they want it to be as easy as possible for them to edit. So, talk a little bit about how HubSpot makes it so much easier for companies to edit their own website without the use of a web developer or an Attack Interactive type company.
Yeah, I think one of the beauties of HubSpot CMS is everything is, to your point, it is module and modular and drag and drop. And the HubSpot has a marketplace now that really competes with Shopify's theme marketplace, or you looking at WordPress like a Theme Forest or Envato. HubSpot has their own marketplace now, and there are tons of different themes that you can just go and install now, all of which are built to be more they're built to be launched without the requirement of the developer. And we as an agency, we sell our own themes in the marketplace that all drag and drop. And the beauty of this is when you buy that theme, you're typically getting 30, 40, 50 different page templates, all these different modules. And the nice thing with HubSpot is you can just go and kind of set up your brand kit, essentially put in your logos, your colors, your fonts. That can all get pushed out through HubSpot to all the different page templates, all the different modules. So it makes it very easy to purchase a theme, install it, and deploy it, and then just go in and with drag or drop functionality, move different elements on or off of a page. Or if your own page doesn't have an element you want, just choose something from the module library, drag it over. And then from there, you can very easily kind of click into there and you can change images, CTAs, add videos, change your copy. So HubSpot does have probably, if someone is used to using WordPress and they're used to using Elementor or similar tools, HubSpot has that same functionality. But oftentimes when I'm having these conversations, HubSpot ends up being a lot easier to edit than even an open source tool like WordPress is.
Gotcha. And so where, no tool's perfect. Where does the HubSpot Content Hub, where could it improve a little? Not necessarily grow, like because we know they will evolve with more AI tools because we just understand how much HubSpot's investing in, that technology. But just your more of your day-to-day improvements where, if you had a magic wand and you could make 3 upgrades tomorrow, where would you focus?
HubSpot does a nice job of mixing like the modules with global content. With that, sometimes what we often experience is some HubSpot themes, just like WordPress themes, can be a little bit bloated, and sometimes it can be a little bit more challenging to get a HubSpot site to pass Core Web Vitals than it is to get a Webflow or WordPress type site to pass Core Web Vitals. Not impossible, but sometimes that's where you might require some developer support to go in and remove some excess code or shift things around or change how JavaScript is loading. So if then a lot of that's just built on how HubSpot loads their own internal scripts. When a HubSpot website loads, like they're loading their forms. If you're using a meeting embed tool, that gets loaded, and they have all these different APIs that HubSpot uses to help power Content Hub. But with that does come a little bit of bloat. So if I could wave a magic wand, it would be probably reducing that and making it slightly easier to make HubSpot sites pass Core or Web Vitals without the requirement of a developer. And then the membership functionality, it's great. It's so much better than it was a couple of years ago. It makes it easier to build out like partner portals or to have forced registration if you want to have like a my account type functionality. But it is a little tricky to use and not as, I would say, plug and play as some WordPress membership type plugins are. So those are probably the two biggest areas I look at.
And do you think that do you feel like HubSpot understands this? Do you feel like this is on the roadmap? This is, I mean, because like you said, the membership function is better today than it was 4 or 5 years ago. Where do we see that evolving?
Yeah, I think it's definitely on the roadmap. Speaking on the membership side, they used to have the enterprise level of Content Hub to use that, which does come at a decent expense, especially when you're used to, WordPress managed hosting. They've now made that available on the Pro plan, so it's a lot more accessible. And they're continuing to invest in that functionality, and build it out so that it is a little bit more plug and play and doesn't require as much development. And I see this on even on the Core Web Vitals side. Again, as an agency, we sell themes in the marketplace, and one of the benefits is we get to work pretty closely with their like developer resources and relations department at HubSpot, and they're amazing. And HubSpot does a really good job of making sure when themes get available, when themes are available on the marketplace, that they all have to pass very strict requirements, and they are, I would say, inspected and looked at way more than like any theme you're going to see available on the Shopify or the WordPress marketplace. And with that, they're continuing to look at different ways to optimize their code structure. So I've seen improvements even from 12 months ago to now with getting a HubSpot website to pass Core Web Vitals. So I think they hear it. And the nice thing is, since Content Hub is a big focus for them, they are very open and receptive to feedback and are launching new features on almost a monthly basis at this point.
Nice. And we all know that these companies are all competing to be able to offer things that others don't. Beyond just being comparable to something like WordPress, what can HubSpot offer beyond what a WordPress site can do? What features exist that might get somebody who's kind of like, I don't know if I really want to move my website to go, ooh, okay, now we're talking.
I think one of the coolest new features HubSpot has launched out, and something we've helped a few different companies get moving lately, is their integration with DeepL. Especially for companies that operate in multiple countries, having that multivariant kind of language translation built in, using DeepL, which is by and far the most accurate translation AI translation service out there. We can build that in and auto translate essentially most of the website, minus anything that could be custom coded, and there's workarounds for that. But having that feature set available with just like a few clicks, you can go in and build out a French version, a German version, a Mandarin version. It's almost spot on. We've done Spanish sites and had Spanish speakers on our team review it, and the translations are really, really good. WordPress has some plugins that do that, but they don't have that extensive DeepL integration that HubSpot has now.
Nice. All right. Any last words on if we started this by kind of poking fun at HubSpot, why don't we end it with a big give us a big pitch. Okay. I'm on the fence. I might go to WordPress, might go to HubSpot. I don't know. I know WordPress. HubSpot. I thought that isn't that blogging tool or something that came out. Come on, give me the big pitch on why I need to go to HubSpot.
For us, it's always like, it's the ease of use, it's the marketing attribution. We can show them small sites that are built on HubSpot. We can show these super expensive forced registration, my account functionality sites that are built on HubSpot now. So a lot of the times, just demoing the platform, it helps get someone over that finish line. Especially, I'd say, when you have people on your team and you want to make the site honestly more accessible for others in the marketing department to edit. HubSpot is always going to be my go-to. It's so much easier to edit even than an Elementor or like a WordPress bakery type tool. But once I can go in there and show them like, hey, we can drag one of your forms right here. We can have all these cool CTAs and exit intents. You can do multi-step form functionality. And when we really show that end-to-end attribution reporting, sure, you can get it using a WordPress plugin, but it's not going to be as extensive as what you get when the actual website is built within HubSpot. And then the ease of just building up and spinning up landing pages. Most companies are running some sort of campaign, whether it's a trade show or it's an SEO campaign or a paid campaign. The ease of just spinning up different landing pages and being able to quickly, with the click of a button, A/B test different variants and choose a winner and see what works and what doesn't work. It's so much easier to do that in HubSpot when you're using both Marketing Hub and Content Hub versus trying to tie different platforms together.
All right, there it is. I'm sold, and so are many other B2B companies, which is why they are headed over to the artist formerly known as HubSpot CMS and now known as the Content Hub. Thanks so much, Stephen. This was fun.
Thanks, Austin.
That's it for today. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up and make sure you hit subscribe so you can see our latest videos as soon as they drop.
We really appreciate you watching. See you next time.